So in this video we're going to see a gameplay from Valparaiso in a defence game of Rush. I wanted to show this video because I think it highlights multiple different situations in Battlefield that can happen from both an attacking and a defence perspective. As a quick overview, the first base is defended well, but the following three bases are left quite open. Our team doesn't regroup to defend them well at all, but we managed to pull things together for a good tough defence on the last base. I think showing games where you have a variety of situations like this are much more interesting and constructive than a round which is always an easy win or a match where your team dominates. I think a round like this is much more representative of what most people will experience playing Battlefield. So let's just get into the game. I'll try and pull up some points that I think are important to be aware of and people might want to take into consideration when we're moving towards Battlefield 3. I'm sure the same basic situations are going to occur there, as most Battlefield titles that I have played have fairly consistent gameplay, so I'm pretty sure that the same principle is going to carry on into the next title. So let's have a little look and see. So here we come in at the first part of the game. I'm going to try and keep these videos to 10 minutes each, so this one will run over a little bit over that, but we'll try and keep it fairly sort of standard. So we're starting off with this game here, and I'm using a tracer to start because the Black Hawk is always a very early show on this video. We've got a tracer marked straight on it, but I was reloading. I'm just mopping these up. So to begin with, as a good defence here, you've obviously got to be aware of any heavy vehicles coming in, and that was my first concern. The Black Hawk will always be coming straight down into the base, whether it's crashing into buildings or whether it's just flying around the base. So, but taking that out is obviously a priority. Taking down the vehicles is always going to be a really important thing to do because they can put so much firepower onto you. The UAV there marked up. UAVs, unlike UAVs in COD, just for people that don't know, UAVs in Battlefield are controlled by a player, and you can fly around with them, you can mark enemy units, you can put fire down using them. They're generally quite dangerous and again a priority to take out. More of a priority even than the vehicles, because they give such an overview of the whole situation there. A little bit of overkill from me there with that rocket, didn't really need to use that on that guy. And often a common thing on this base here is, you can see I was shooting at that tank. They will sit with the tank at the top road there and fire down A. You can actually fire down on A from that top point. Now, when I was moving into this building here, the reason I went straight into the left room, one guy was already defusing, they didn't need me defusing, and I was trying to, check the other rooms. I wasn't quick enough though, because that guy had already set up in that corner. I wasn't ready for him. So obviously he took me down there. And they've set again, so you can see straight at the start of this game, this team are quite proactive. They really want to get in on this round. The reason I started shooting at this building here was to open the building up, and opening the building up can be quite a good thing to do because it allows you to, and yeah, see here I continue and I'm telling my guys, clear this building, open it up, open it up. Black Hawk's coming back in. The reason you want to open them up, as I say, is you can see them a lot easier. You don't have to worry about the walls. You can see when people are on the targets, and that allows you to defend it much more successfully. Now, that can be a bit of a double-edged sword though, because if you've opened a building up, it also means that the enemy can shoot long-range things, like for example you can shoot rockets like the one I've got right here. You can shoot infantry rockets at it, you can get the tank shooting at it, all sorts of things. It allows basically, them to be able to direct fire onto it, whereas, they previously wouldn't be able to do that because of the building. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. You have to just kind of play it as it was. The reason I wanted to get that cleared out is because they already got two plants on it, and I felt it was an important thing to do so that we can see when they're sneaking up. See, the tank is still trying to pound A up there. Now, I've just taken up this little position here. I often really like this position because from here I can see this road here where these guys are. I can also look to my left to B, I can look to my right to A, and it puts you right in the middle. I can easily get to either target from here to defend or to attack, depending on how close the guys are to me. And the enemy are pushing down on the left here. There's clearly one of their teams is pushing constantly on B. Again, I wanted to open this building up. Opening the buildings up can be a really good thing to do because, again, it gives your enemy less hiding space. There's another video that I may put up, which was a Battlefield Vietnam video, and again, there's one target that's in the midst of all these little buildings, and it's a nightmare trying to defend it because there's so many hiding places they can just hide. And a very common thing for people to do, or I do it, you get one person hiding in a building and the rest of your team can constantly spawn on that person. So making sure that you remove any hiding areas, or to the best that you can be really beneficial. We just saw one guy jump out, so we're just hunting him down. I left those guys to do it. I can't believe it took me so long to actually get that tracer on there. I should have just fired with the rocket, because to be honest I could have easily got that from there. Come on. Yeah, a bit of a wild panic here. So again, this guy using that little building as shelter. His little team coming down on the left there still. That was a bad res from Worker there. Something that happens, I'm sure people know, aware of in Killzone as well as in Battlefield, and that's medics resing you in the middle of a hot area. If you see someone on the ground and there's multiple enemies around you, don't res them, because it just gives the enemy extra points, and it also creates a delay, because I have to die and I have to wait to respawn again, whereas if they hadn't resed me up, I would have been on the ground somewhere else and I could have probably been more productive. So it's counterproductive for many reasons. So I'm just moving back to my position here. Now, something to bring up here, an important point to make here, is the reason that I keep going back to the same place. Now, a lot of people will dislike this, and a lot of people can say, oh, you're camping or whatever. To be honest, that's crap. Camping in one game, if you want to call it that, is very different to camping in another game. The whole point of our objective here is to defend, and to defend successfully you need to remain at the target so that you can cover it and you can basically be successful. If I was to run up, as we will actually see in the next couple of bases, and it's a very good comparison, this first base and then the next following bases, the enemy in this game are our opposing team. They don't push forward very much, as you see. They've made these little breaks for B, but they generally haven't really pushed forward too much. Now, if we go forward, if we move up to them and we take the fight to them, we might get some more kills, but the likelihood of an enemy slipping through, capturing a base, is much, much higher. And it's a really big mistake that happens all the time in Battlefield. You get a team where the enemy are not pushing hard, not much is going on, and they get bored. They don't have any discipline, they don't have any patience, so they want to get in the fight, they want to blow shit up, and they want to kill. So instead of sitting here calmly like what I'm trying to do, I want my team are trying to do, they push forward, and it gives a huge weakness for their team, and they will lose bases, and we see this to happen. Now, a good example here of why you need to take down the Black Hawk. The Black Hawk manages to stay up here, and he's actually got a little bit wise, unlike the previous I feel like it must be a different pilot, I think, because the previous pilot was just stupid and flying very low, very close to us all the time. This guy is flying high, well, fairly high, and at a better range, basically. Now, this is fairly common of many Battlefield games. When people get to about 20 tickets or so, I was sure that was going to be a hit there. When people get to about 20 tickets, the enemy team will often start to panic a little bit, and they start to send everything in. The tank here has obviously got a bit bored of sitting at the top of the hill, and they're pushing in the enemies coming down the hill, the Black Hawks all over us. So very quickly we've gone from a game which was very quiet to very, very you know, intense and heated. And I don't think our team were really ready for this. We were defending pretty well, but I think people lost their focus a little bit here. You see the Black Hawk is still at long range, and it's got a very good gunner as well, which again is another uncommon thing in Battlefield. Most Black Hawk gunners are not that expert. You get some that are pretty good, but this guy, he's much more on it than most. And I got a nice hit on that Black Hawk there. The reason I go with the controlled rocket rather than the Carl Gustav is because that rocket gives you more control for various situations. It can be useful for all sorts of things, moving tanks, you know, whatever you like. The reason it's good for things against like air combat, like Black Hawks and stuff, is because they're not always marked up. It's not, they don't always have tracers on them, and sometimes it can be just as easy to use that rocket and hit them rather than just wait for a tracer. So I like to go with that. I feel like it gives me some more versatility. So we're just kind of coming up to the end of this first part, and then we're going to move into the middle section of this round, which we have some fast movement on the next bases coming up. So we're down to 16 points here, and they're about to make a big rush forward for this base. So I'll pick you guys up with the next video.